Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So on my blog, I share how I made my fortune in real estate, starting at 19 years old, millionaire by 28, and that was a long time ago. Today I'm going to show you a house that I bought for $160,000, sold for a little over $260,000. Now this one required some remodeling and some work. If you don't care about remodeling, don't want to do that stuff, you don't need to watch this video. But if you're interested in that aspect of flipping and buying and making money, then this is a good one to watch. I prefer not to fix and flip. I prefer not to remodel. I'd much rather buy something that's already done and get a good deal on it and pay a little bit more than I would normally do, but always still leaving lots of room to make money. This house, I called it the 3-day deal because I bought it in 3 days. I came in and I employed leapfrogging. Leapfrogging, there's a great chapter on leapfrogging in my book, and that can mean a lot of different things. All right, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So Ricardo here, great roofer. He does a lot of my work. I don't think twice, I hire him to do stuff. Again, like I say, it's good to have professionals and people that you can rely on that know what they're doing. You can see what a rough roof we got here. It is very rough. You can just see this is a old, really overdue roof. Hey Richard, so what Richard or Ricardo, I say, suggested right off the bat was, you can see this valley we have. We have these 2 points, between these two roofs. I'll let him kind of show you. And of course he sees immediately, there's a valley here that really doesn't need to be here. It's flat, causes leaks, it's bad, it's kind of built-in obsolescence on this roof. What he suggested right away was, you can see his tape, this line here, is to bridge these 2 points together, and that'll eliminate that valley, which is a really good idea. So we're going to do that. So we'll do that, and then all this will tear down. He'll replace the plywood. We have plywood that needs to be replaced near the edges, right, Richard?
The edges.
Because again, that's where it deteriorates, starts to, the wood falls place. And of course I looked over here and he immediately saw the same thing I did. There's a groove here, a kerf groove here. I call it a kerf from my woodworking days, where the metal goes in, but it's still flush to the surface, and we don't want that, right?
No, we can change it.
Yeah, so we'll put a kerf up here.
Got it.
A little higher, and then he'll put in metal that'll rest in there and go down, correct? And it'll be a whole lot better roof. It'll be a whole lot better seal around the chimney, because things leak around chimneys all the time. So what were you wanting to do exactly? Go ahead and explain.
We're gonna cut this up, and put another one against the wall here, and then 3/4 cut here, and 4 inches down is kind of flush, and they're gonna be, reflash in this one.
Gotcha.
Got it right here. Very air flashing, like 5 inches down, 4 up, present, and then put your camouflage and seal, and then painting it, the camouflage. And that way we eliminate water going through the side, is outside.
Right. It's a lot better to get it up off the surface. Leaves and stuff will build up here. Leaves can fall in here, water comes in here, infiltrates the roof there. So we'll take care of that too. And again, it's nice to be able to move safe. And of course, it's a Saturday right now. He's a hard worker. He's like me. He works, he just gets it done. It's a Saturday morning. He's here. He's going to, he told me he could be here Monday with a haul off, like a dumpster. And he's going to rip all this roof off Monday, put it in the dumpster. We're gonna have the paper, the materials ready for him. So he's gonna tar paper this whole thing out so that it's what we call dried in, meaning if it rains, it won't get wet inside because it'll all be dried in, we call it. And then the only conflict I have is that he's gonna come back Thursday, so that gives me 4 days to fix the fascia. You can see over here where that plywood is. We got multiple areas where I've got rotten edges. You can see how bad this is along the edge. So I've got fascia to replace, so it's all gonna time out, gonna get it done fast. I'll be here with Beto probably Monday. He'll bring a dumpster, they'll strip all this off. Beto will go get the materials, the tar paper, so he can dry this in. Beto and I and the crew will come back, and what we'll do is we'll fix the fascia before Thursday when Ricardo's going to be back with his crew. We'll, we'll have this whole damn roof done by Thursday. So that'll be good. It'll be nice to have it done, knock it out. That's it. Just just wanted to share this with you while it's happening. Anyhow, Ricardo, we were just wrapping up, and Ricardo did bring up something else that I should have caught that I didn't, and that is, go ahead, Ricardo, you tell us.
Well, we need to put it. This is the chimney cap, because the metal comes here down, flat, and 4 or 5 inches here, which covers this crack.
Right.
You know, it goes up, flat, and up, and then you put the chimney cap. All this solid, no, that way the water go here, goes flat.
To bring it up to more modern standards, what he's talking about is, like I say, is a big metal cap, runs down, runs over this. You can see how this is typical, but this can allow water to get into. But so the cap will come over. It'll be like a brown metal or something, or we'll paint it. And then also the other thing was and then he said that runs up, and then it's always good to have you want to have a screen, a filter on here, because you get what they call chimney swallows, and snakes can come down looking for the birds and get into the house. So then on top of that, a stack will go on top of that. Is like a cage, lets the smoke out, but it'll also deflect the rain. Good call on that. So he's measuring up for that, and he'll have the tin knockers, as I call them, knock out one of those as well. So yeah, one more thing I just caught here is, remember inside this is the 3-day deal. There's a stove that I don't want, don't need, don't really like it. This is the stack for it. So we just realized, don't roof around that. We got to pull that stack, get rid of that thing. That's another thing we'll be doing here. But you can see, look how dilapidated this roof is. It is just terrible. It is a mess. There's like 3 roofs here. You can see last one, previous, and then another one below that. So we got 3 roofs on this roof, and then we have this partial roof that's actually not in bad condition. They had torn it off before, fixed it, and put down a single roof. Anyhow, yeah, this is just a nightmare up here as far as the roof goes, but it's going to be easy to rip off and throw away and replace the bad plywood and put it all new on. It'll be great. I got roofers tearing off the roof right now. They've already got a pretty good chunk of it going, and you can see what's going on up there. They are just scraping with shovels and tearing it up, and then that stuff's all going right in here behind me. It's surprising. Look at all that. Didn't look like it was that much when it was sitting there, It's just one little thin layer on a roof, but you get enough of that debris, and there it is. Now you can look up here and you'll see there was a roof on here not too long ago, right here. And then the older parts are up here that were like they'd gone over an existing roof, but it's all pretty terrible and rough. They're gonna scrape all that off clean. I'm not even gonna bother going up there. Maybe I'll go up there just to show you guys. And then this plywood here is to fix the damaged plywood, and there's a lot of it. I've had way worse, but that's not bad. And then you can see we got the asphalt paper that you see there. After they're done and they get all this plywood in, they'll go in and they'll nail that stuff up in place, and that'll kind of take care of drying in. We call that drying in the roof. If they say it's dried in, it means they have the paper down. Should be up here on flip-flops, but it's pretty hot. So you can see we've already got this curve cut. So see, this is a cut we added. I don't really like the way they did it, but there's a cut there and here's a cut here, and that is going to have the metal's going to go in that cut, and it's going to be a much better, tougher way for water to get out, or get in, I should say. You can see here, like I say, they're tearing it up, and like that, where I got a hole, there's a stack there where there was like an old stove in there that we're not going to keep, so we're going to just fill that over and remove the flume. And then this part here, this is kind of a weird valley that we don't need. You can see there's a point. There's a point there, and there's another point right here. And we might be able to connect those points and just make this all plywood here, rather than this little valley that you see here in the middle. That's really a bad idea. It's just a water catcher. Gives water a place to sit and pool. So it was poorly designed on, from the beginning on this roof for that part. But we're gonna fix that so it all just slopes off. And at least that's my plan right now. I hate to go back and build something back up that's already kind of got that built-in obsolescence. So you can see what they're doing. And actually, the wood looks better than I thought, but you can see down here. See, there's a problem there, wood-wise, and more plywood issues here. That's all going to pull up, and I got to replace the fascia there. So when they pull up and replace this plywood, I don't want them to nail it down on that edge, because I'm pulling that stuff off because it's already pretty rotten. Let's see how the rest of this looks. Yeah, you can see there's another real rough. It's these outside edges that were leaking the worst. You can see all the plywood along this outside edge is going to have to be replaced. And what I don't want them to do is I don't want them to nail it to that fascia, because I'm going to replace that fascia with material I have inside the house right now. They're going to kind of do this roof, and then I'll pull that fascia off that they didn't nail to. Whoa, there's a soft spot on the roof I just stepped on. Didn't feel good at all. Like I say, I'll get that new fascia up underneath there, and then we'll just nail down to that. So let me get back out of here. Yeah, I know our fascia's inside there. I could smell it in the office, or not in the office, inside the house the other day. I was like, where's the wood? And but I could smell it, so I know it was in there. And the only room I didn't really check was the garage. So we'll take a look here. And yeah, I can already see it. So this wood you see here, I had to have this custom milled because it's 1 3/4 inch thick cedar. It's rough, it smells great, but that's what's on the edges. That's the fascia that's around this building. A lot of times, usually it's just 8 by inch, 2 by 8s that go around. And when I say 2, that's really only 1.5 inches. 2 by 8s are only about 1 5/8 inches thick when you're talking about regular lumber. But anyhow, this is true 2 by 8s. I think they're actually 1 3/4 inches. Well, it looks like it's almost a full 2 inch. We had it milled to specs, so it matches the material that we already have here. And so in the house, like I say, there's that stove that we're going to yank because we just don't need a heater here. You can still see some debris. Anyhow, all that'll be out of here soon. And this is a bunch of crap that came out of the attic, and there is a lot more in there. I'm not going to go up there now, too hot. But there's a lot more of that stuff in there too. And I don't think I'm going to go out this way, but that's what's happening. Okay, Tom here, they've got most of the roof stripped. And you can see all the new plywood up here. We're replacing all the rotten stuff. And there's quite a bit. You can see down here. You can see back there. They've already patched the certain things. We had a little issue with getting material here, but all good now. Sometimes tempers run high when it's getting hot on top of the roof. People are uncomfortable and they want to go home. They got a new job to start the next day, but we got it all handled. Richard, he's doing the work that we talked about. First part of this video, Richard here he put in that, cut in his groove. You can see he's making the metal. It's going to rest in that groove. See better over here. Put his metal here. He's already made up the cap. Looks good. Much better than the stock cap that was on there. It was just basically a little puddle of cement. But that's how we used to do it. It worked forever. It's still, I'm not saying it wasn't bad, but this is probably a little bit better what we got. So this is kind of a newer service. They got this smaller bin that's actually adequate for a lot of jobs, and really happy with the service because a lot of times we'll get a big, what we call a 20-yard dumpster, or a 40-yard is the same size but much taller. But anyhow, this is just right for just taking basically a roof away. It's a cool service. It's more cost effective than the big roll-offs. And like I say, this guy's picking it up with, like just a slightly oversized pickup, which is really cool. But anyways, you might want to check those out if you ever get something like that for yourselves. Just checking on the progress over here on our fascia at the 3-day deal, as I call it. You can see we've had a lunch break, and now we've gotten the fascia on. You can see they got the 45s cut on the existing beams that were rotten on the outside edge. Got some grooves cut in here to accept the plywood that kind of shields the tails of the trusses that come down. So you can see what we got here. He's gonna cut this and he's gonna return it to over there. And you can see they've already, wow, that's pretty nasty. You can see they cut the beam off flush. It wasn't supporting where it's at anyways. And now he's gonna nail on a fascia right over the top of that other one. It'll give us a better drip edge because the roofs kind of have a compound intersection. Do we even have any insulation up there? Yeah, I'm looking up here. There's actually no insulation up there. And at least not that I can see. Jeez. It's looking pretty clean. You can see. I didn't think they were going to have a joint here. I think they got a joint here. Right there. I don't know what happened on that. Hey Beto, I thought you weren't going to have a joint on that fascia on the far left. What? Why, is it too long, or you didn't get a piece long enough?
It was 6 inches too short.
Oh.
Yeah. When we figured out where the highest point was.
Right.
And so I had to find a place where there was support, and that's the only place. So I wasn't gonna put a 6-inch piece, you know what I mean?
Right, and there is tail support in that, right?
I framed it in there.
Okay.
So it's strong.
So what we're talking about here is, we thought we had this fascia was going to be a one piece. We thought he had it covered, but by the time he cut the miters on there, I guess he was a little bit short. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. I'd rather not have a joint there, but it happens. But he said he supported it, so it'll be fine. And it's going to get painted, so it won't even show. Just checking in on the job. I'm running back and forth. There's actually another property I bought right down the street here, just before I started this blog. It was a real good deal too, and it was one I had to jump on, move on very quick. But, that was another one that I had to move on very quickly. It was also one of the reasons I kind of knew the values in this neighborhood, because I had been studying the neighbors. It's getting hotter today. Anyways, we're getting it figured out here. This is probably the worst part of the fascia, what we're working on right now. It's just got kind of a funky intersection. Got really weather beaten in that corner where you see Beto behind me working. Got to kind of fit it in, because nothing's really perfect. Not really any real good square reference to come off of, so there's a little bit of eyeball on it. Holding up fascia and kind of just adjusting it. And he'll trim on that beam that he's pulling a nail on out of right now. And then after he gets this piece scabbed on here, this piece going here, then this will scab on top of that piece, and then we'll return from there to this point. Anyways, that's what's happening. It's not pretty. There's rat poop and all kinds of stuff coming out of that opening. Don't want to breathe it. All right, let's see what's happening. Oh shit, you're short. Fuck.
No, that shit just exploded out.
Oh.
That was. I don't think if I push this up, Tom, I don't think this is going to be level.
Yeah, it looks, push it up for now, just see what it does. It actually isn't bad. Push it up higher. It needs to go higher. Armando, if you get under, I'll just eyeball it. Get under on the brick. It's definitely got to go up on the left. But Mondo, get up on that step. Yeah, because see, what you don't see is I'm eyeing it to the beam that's over that carport, or over that entry. A little higher. Go up higher. Keep pushing. Or maybe you can get a nail in the far end, or is the taper what you want? Here, do this real quick. Eyeball it this way and see if it looks like you're coming out this way.
I can't tell from there.
Let me look here. It doesn't look bad. It looks like it has to come in some. don't nail it. Yeah, if you're gonna nail it, better nail it way at this end because it's got to push up quite a bit. He can't see what I see from back here, but after he nails it, I can show him what I'm seeing. Wait, push it up. You're not even. But see it.
It's because we're pushing it too high.
No, you're not. Look, I'll show you why you're not. Come over here. Look here. That up here. Eye it to the beam. See what I mean? Push it up. Up more. More. That's about right there. Yeah, he's short. He's short. That's about where you're going to be. See, it'll go all the way up till it touches that. So you got a reference there. But you're short. You got a pry bar. He's stuck. Putting that in. Anyways, it's kind of a pain in the ass because the stuff that's up there is falling apart, and it's kind of miserable conditions. But anyways, we got to figure it out. Anyhow, more when we get it nailed up. Back on the 3-day deal fascia, and still it's a bigger pain in the ass. Or actually, it's as much of a pain in the ass as I expected it would be. We had a little human error also that didn't help, but that happens too. But this is kind of cool. I was walking around the property, and in the bushes back here, I just found this little pot holder, which I think is kind of cool. You know, I always like to find little mementos from the properties that I buy. I got some cool trespassing sign. I found the folding bicycle, which we can go over there. From here, I'll go over there, and I actually had a bicycle place. I took it over there and told them to go ahead and fix it up. You know, put new brakes and chrome, and you know, just fix it up. It's kind of a nice little memento from this property. So we'll go look at that next too. But anyhow, I was kind of happy to find this. I thought this is kind of neat, and I actually got a friend that'd probably love to have that. But for now, it'll just go in my little memento pile of things, along with the ammo box or the locker that we found in the attic over at the lake house. Also there at the lake house, found something else. Found a couple. I think I found the pictures of the patriarch and the matriarch from 1948, which are kind of neat. I found those in the attic too. So you never know what you can find, what you're going to find in the attic. That's pretty cool. I found some cool stuff. I found some old books, old Disney books, not from another property in Idaho I bought one time. I found old vintage books, Little Black Sambo, Little Brown Coco, books that are no longer in print, that would never be printed today. But anyhow, I found that in the bushes. It's going to make me want to kind of walk around and look some more. Maybe I'll find something else. We had to recut this piece. They didn't figure in the miter, so they cut the length and then cut the miter, and it came up a little short. Happens to us all, so no big deal. We'll nail it, and then he'll push it up. It looks like you maybe nail 3 feet before you push up. Maybe it'll keep that joint right. Maybe. You know, better maybe nail down, get a nail or two through the top of that plywood. Might help also keep it from pulling away when he pushes up. It's going to widen that joint.
Morro, tráeme la pistola esa.
We're fighting a lot of old existing, you know, some warpage and stuff too. The better he can nail that end when he raises it up over here, you can see how much we got to raise up. It's going to try to pull it apart, and it will pull it apart a little bit.
You want to eyeball that for us, Tom?
Yep. So what you're going to see is I'm eyeballing it to the beam. You look at the beam that's below the raw wood, because we know that's level, or it's going to look level, whether it is or not. You want to nail it some before he pushes it up? Yeah. Well, not to the beam, but you can nail it if you feel good about that. Let's see. Oh no, push up, a little more. Go more, more. Right. That's right there is good enough. That's pretty good. Yeah, you could nail it on the beam now if you wanted to. If you don't follow me, look at where my finger is. There's a beam right there, right? I mean, there's the wood, the raw wood, the new wood. Below that, there's a beam, and I'm eyeing it to that beam because that's my best reference for level. Even if it's not exactly level, it's going to look level because it's going to run parallel to that beam that's running over the entrance, and I'm sure it's quite close. So it's just kind of a cluster. The way they did it originally, it wasn't great, and we're kind of falling in behind what was existing and doing the best we can with what we got. Without tearing the whole place apart, because there's just not enough money to tear it all apart and redo it. but it doesn't need to be done. It's all structurally good. We'll go run over to the bicycle store, go pick up the rebuilt sliding or the folding bicycle. All right, I just got here to the bike shop, and I'm gonna go ahead and they told me the bike's ready. I went and had the little folding bicycle rebuilt, so we'll go take a look. So anyhow, I got the bicycle rebuilt. You can see they did a great job. They replaced the handlebars, they replaced the calipers, and new tires. Kept the white walls, which I thought was kind of cool. Pretty old retro bicycle. Anyways, oh, looks like a new seat. And again, really cleaned up pretty nicely. The rims got a little rust on them still, but for just, you know, cleaning up this old bicycle, I think it came out pretty cool. It'll be a nice memento from the house that I found it in. Anyhow, I just came out of the bike store, and see if you can see this. Probably a really bad idea doing this while I'm riding a bicycle, but pretty cool, man. Really neat. Ride's nice, and so I can adjust this so you can see it. How does that work? So, anyways, cleaned up nice, rides beautifully. Really pretty cool. Really pretty cool. I guess I'll go put this away. I'll take it over to the studio, and this will be part of the backdrop when we finally get the studio finished up. We can start doing some in-room stuff, but we'll have all the mementos in the background or something like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you don't want to be involved with remodeling, I certainly understand, and you'd probably make a lot more money if you stay away from it. My book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate, it's bestseller on Amazon and Kindle. Be sure to get it and learn and make money in real estate. It's not that hard.